This is crazy, I'm on the right track, I'm finally found. You need some soul searching, the time is now. All I need is one mic.
The female sociopath. Whoever is in a female narcissist or sociopath's way will pay dearly, even the ones who pose the slightest threat. The female sociopath harbors a sense of entitlement to everything and anything. They are especially threatened by other women who possess what they cannot. Female narcissists and sociopaths exhibit intense internalized misogyny. They despise other women getting ahead or posing a threat to their grandiose ego. To see another woman achieving in a way that she is unable to do, or to get the attention she feels she must have, is a threat to her very sense of self and sense of entitlement. That is why the female sociopath is notorious for belittling her more successful and or attractive female friends, covertly sabotaging and bullying those she is jealous of, and having affairs with men who are already in committed relationships. That sounds pretty much like Satan, except for the last part. Check out Exposing the Sociopath on Instagram. They have great content about narcissists and sociopaths. Okay, guys, I seem to have accidentally deleted some footage and I don't know where it is. Left off in the last video, basically just telling you guys that I finally gave in and decided to email my brother. I kind of just came to the conclusion that I wasn't going to be able to talk to him. I had called him several times and we just kept missing each other, and I just realized that I had no choice but to deal with Satan. And so in the interest of just getting this stuff done and trying to just move on with my life, I decided to reach out and email. And so this is what I wrote. I emailed him Thursday, September 28th at 2:46 p.m. Since communication has become almost impossible, I am writing you this email in the interest of speeding this process up, and to inform you that I spoke to someone at the estate company yesterday, and they informed me that no estate sale would be taking place. I'm not sure why you haven't notified anyone else about that. I think it's safe to say now that after contacting several companies that there is not enough value in the home to warrant an estate sale. There are other sale options, but since communication here is virtually inexistent at this point, and the restrictions you have on seeing me, the best option is donating whatever is left in the house. Any companies I have spoken with require the items to be boxed up in order for them to be removed. I'm going to continue packing items up as I have been for the last few weeks until the house is emptied. Since you are insisting on getting the house listed ASAP, that is how things are going to have to go. You do not have as much time to dedicate as you have a full-time job, and I do. I have been there for 6 or more hours every day since we had our meeting trying to get the house emptied. If you will remember back in the earlier emails between us, that was the plan. And I'll show you guys, just to reiterate. You said you didn't want much and that I could take care of emptying the house. Had we stuck to that, the house most likely would have been emptied by now. But shoulda, woulda, coulda. The point is, I have gotten at least half of the stuff packed. I can have the house completely emptied by the end of next week. Right now, that is our best option in order to get the house listed ASAP. Okay. Before I continue this, one of the things that we had agreed to during our meeting was to reach out to real estate agents and get comps from the real estate agents, okay? So I had taken the advice of my attorneys, and this woman I know that lived around the corner from my mom's house was like one of the top selling agents in my mom's area. And I've known her since I was a little kid. And so I contacted her. She came over, I showed her the house. And she was going to do a list of comps with me. I explained the whole situation. My brother and I aren't getting along. I said it's been very difficult. She was like, listen, I've dealt with this before. She's like, I'll talk to him separately than you. I understand, whatever. I get an email from a real estate agent, okay? And this was the guy that my brother had already signed a listing agreement with. He kept telling me to reach out to this guy. I was like, there's no point in doing this until we get the house emptied. I didn't feel comfortable listing my mom's house with all her stuff in it. It needed to be organized and cleaned and emptied out a little bit. So this guy sends me this email and he tells me that he agreed to accepting a 1% commission. They sat there and negotiated a commission with this guy and didn't even tell me. They signed a listing agreement, they negotiated a thing. I get to ask the guy no questions. They just railroad me and do what they want to do. And I'm like, this is bullshit, okay? So what I did was I reached out to another friend of mine who's a real estate agent, And I was like, could you, like, what do you think about this? I show him the guy's email, and he writes back to me, and he's like, to give you the best advice that I can, I would be a little bit concerned. He's like so desperate to take a 1% commission because there's no mention of MLS in here. Now, I took real estate courses, so I kind of understood what he was saying. MLS is like the most invaluable tool you have as a real estate agent. You put it on MLS site. It's not just advertising with, your agency. This opens it up to any agency, okay? So another realtor could potentially sell the house, but then you would end up splitting the commission with them. And he's like, if this guy's accepting a 1% commission and then he has to split it with somebody, is he really gonna do that? It's like not even worth your time. And I think typical is 4%, if I remember correctly. Okay, so I just wanted to explain it. So I didn't feel comfortable using this guy because of that. I'm gonna take the advice from somebody who is a real estate agent. So, okay, so I said, I know this real estate agent, Lynn, reached out to you today. She wanted to meet with both of us tonight, but since you cannot be around me, I will be meeting with her alone. I don't see the point of getting any more market analyses at this point. The general consensus is the same for all. The house is worth anywhere from $340K and $360K, give or take. There's no need to keep wasting people's time or our own time. No one was arguing the general value of the home. As far as agents go, Dennis is a definite no for me. If he's accepting a 2% commission, sorry, it was 2%, I assume he's not using MLS to list the house. The use of MLS is an absolute requirement of mine for selling a home and getting maximum exposure, especially during this time of the selling season. Lynn is the best choice, and that's who I am going with. She works out of her home and her office. Her home, as you probably know, is only 3 blocks away. She could be at the house within seconds. Because, again, I'm going on the advice of my attorney who said try to get somebody who's closest to the property. Her office is around the corner on this other street, which is also minutes away. She sells the most houses in our town, period. More than any other agent out there. She knows the neighborhood better than anyone else. Her face is on the front page of the Yankee Trader and Penny Saver regularly. That's like these news things that go out with the real estate ads. Anyway, she is an advertising and marketing beast. She has 27 years experience. She is willing to communicate with the both of us separately as a neutral party, as she has lots of experience in situations like ours. That is fair to both of us. Chewing any agent out of their commission means they aren't going to work like they are getting full commission, and so I don't see why we'd want to do that. That isn't a selling point to me for choosing an agent. I want someone who's going to work their hardest to maximize our profits. Lynn is the best choice. Please give me one reason you could disagree with that. I think all attorneys will agree with that. She has done real estate transactions with my attorney before, which is also a benefit to us. Also, she's going to try to pull non-FHA loan applicants towards the house in case we cannot get the CO for the porch expedited before the closing. She knows how to do that. And, they were making a big deal about the CO for the porch. So this woman told me people get FHA loans, which are government loans. They're a little bit more picky. So, like, if you don't have a CO or you don't have a permit for something, they're going to give you a hard time. So she basically told us that she was going to try to pull people who didn't have, those types of loans. So I said, regardless, I am meeting with her tonight. She is going to do yet another market analysis, and she is going to get in contact with our attorneys and you after. If you want the house sold ASAP, this is your best choice. In summary, I will be at the house packing everything else up and getting it emptied so we could get the house listed ASAP like you wanted. This Sunday, the bed will be going to Nana's house. Other than the house, the AFA claim will be filed by the end of today. I needed to get a receipt for her chemo medication, Votrian, in order to maximize the amount of money that we will receive for this claim. Also, my attorney has sent letters to both Wilmington and Fidelity to collect the funds. If you have any issues with any of the aforementioned stuff, you could either call me, and I gave my phone number, or go through your attorney. Once again, in the interest of getting this estate settled, I was like, this is the best way to go.
I also want to mention here that I know I said I wasn't going to be talking to that email anymore, but it just got to the point where I was like, I have to give in and just take the high road, because I know my brother is just not going to talk to me. There's nothing I could do. I've tried everything. I've tried calling him, and all that's doing is further delaying things. And if I didn't get this estate settled soon, I was going to lose my goddamn mind. And so me and my husband had a discussion, and my husband was like, listen, just write them an email and basically tell them, the same way that they do to you, you tell them what's going to happen. Take charge and just, try to get this shit settled so that we could all move on with our lives. And sure enough, that's exactly what I did. And as you guys will see, Satan's just so immature, and you'll see her response. So this is what I get back in the email. First of all, when I sent my email, the subject line, I meant to write mommy's house and it wrote Moment's house. It like auto-corrected mommy and it wrote Moment's house. So this fucking asshole sends me an email and look at her subject line. It says mom's house and then in parentheses FTFY. And I'm like, what the hell's FTFY? What is that? So I go on like Google and I type in FTFY. And what comes up? Fix that for you. Talk about petty. I mean, come on. Oh, such a bitch. I hate this fucking girl so much. I really do. Leanna, much of this has already been sent to my attorney who forwarded it to your attorney. Let me back that up for a second. After she got my email and I said, like, what's going on? Why aren't these estate sales happening? Why didn't you contact anybody? She sent my attorney this estimate, okay, to get the house cleaned up. And it was like some ridiculous price, like $1,200. And I'm like, why would we pay somebody that much money to get the house emptied? I was already there boxing stuff up because I knew that this estate sale wasn't happening. So one day I went to Walmart, I bought a whole bunch of boxes and packing tape, and I just went over there and I started boxing shit up because I was like, regardless of what we do, things are gonna have to be boxed up. We have no choice. That's how it has to go. So this is what I get back in the email. Leanna, much of this has already been sent to my attorney who forwarded it to your attorney. He's tried several times and waited nearly 2 weeks for a response from your attorney. I believe today is the first he's heard back. Give your attorney a call for details. Now this started this thing of where she would not like answer me and just kept telling me to call my attorney. And the reason she was doing this is because every time I call my attorney, it costs me money. She just would purposely evade things and tell me to go call my attorney for the information instead of just telling me. Okay, so here we go with the bullet points. Regarding cleaning out the house, I gave all the information you mentioned below to my attorney, who gave it to yours over a week ago. Your attorney confirmed today that he has all this information. The deadline we set for the meeting for cleaning out the house was last Friday, which has passed. Contact your attorney for the information that was provided to him. So instead of just sending it to me, she's instructing me to contact my attorney for it. I am not agreeing to using Lynn. I am also not agreeing to using your attorney to handle the closing. He is your personal attorney and a general practice attorney. That's not what he is. Closings are best handled by an actual real estate attorney who does nothing but closings. My attorney will be contacting your attorney about this. Speak to your attorney about next steps for picking the real estate agent. Attorney, 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 attorney. If I had $1 for every time you said attorney, I'd be a goddamn millionaire. Fucking bitch. I hate this girl. Sorry, Snoop. Sorry. Didn't mean to scare ya. I already spoke with Mom's youngest brother about the bed. I know that he and Uncle whatever are getting it this weekend. She wanted to like point out that like I talked to him too. Here we go with the Affleck claim once again. I spoke with a rep at Affleck and I sent the medical records I received to them. Why? I told you a fucking 1,000 times I will handle the Affleck claim. They handle the claim from there. Send any additional information you get to them. Wilmington and Fidelity cannot do what your attorney is asking them to do, since those accounts are both individual accounts with no transfer on death designation, and then in parentheses she writes TOD, like, such a douche. Those forms that Wilmington and Fidelity sent you still need to be completed. I've explained this to my attorney, who gave this to yours. Compliance officers from each company are reaching out to your attorney to explain as well. I suggest having your attorney call them for an explanation rather than waiting another 2 weeks to write a letter. No compliance officers ever reached out to my attorney. And just to let you guys know, all these times that she's like, oh, my attorney called your attorney, blah, blah, blah. He never did. He never called my attorney, ever. As agreed, you were supposed to have returned the photo albums and Dad's wedding ring to Mom's house for me. Ready for this? Ready for this? You've been there daily for 6 hours, yet you haven't done that. I won't be signing any listing agreements or disbursements to you until you do what you agreed to. Dude, you're gonna hold my money and extort me until I give you a ring that's worth like $200? I can't. This girl's psychotic. Once again, I've been keeping my attorney up to date, and he's been leaving numerous messages for yours. No, he wasn't. In fact, it was quite the opposite. My attorney had to chase him down all the time because this guy never returned phone calls. He's been leaving numerous messages for yours, as Jeannie could probably attest to. Her feathers were so ruffled that Jeannie worked for my attorney's office. Why did you even need to put her in here? And I asked Jeannie, and Jeannie's answer was like, we haven't heard from Mr. Bad in like weeks. I suggest you keep in touch with your attorney, as my attorney is suggesting I file a petition for a conference at Surrogate's Court to hold you accountable for the deadlines you agreed to. This is now the third time I'm being threatened with court. Hold me accountable. Go ahead, bitch. Hold me accountable. First of all, nothing was written in stone, okay? And I don't know what deadline she was talking about because I was doing everything I was supposed to be doing. I filed the Affleck claim. I was packing the house up and getting it emptied. I contacted a real estate agent. What deadlines, bitch?
The only deadline that was missed was the deadline that my brother had made for himself at the meeting to have the house cleaned out within 2 weeks. So, you know, I don't know what she was talking about. I didn't agree to any type of deadlines with rings or photo albums or anything like that. All I agreed to was to bring it back. I never said when or set on a date. Any other thing that I was supposed to do, I was doing. And so I knew she wasn't going to actually come through with this threat and bring me to court. This was something she did to me constantly, though. She would just keep threatening me. And I want to read you guys something, so hang tight. Narcissists like to instill fear in us by making threats. More often than not, they do not carry out these threats. They just want to see how well we jump when they say jump. Their threats are a way for them to convince us that we had better obey them or face what consequences they impose. Now, Satan used this all the time, and it's a very common tactic used by narcissists. She would make all these empty threats on me like, oh, I'm going to take you to court, or I'm going to have the executorship, taken out of your hands, or I'm going to request a conference. And I knew that they were empty threats because this was going to cost her money and further delay her from getting, her portion of my mom's money. And so I just started to treat it like it was a joke, as you guys will see in this next email.
I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. In fact, the weird thing is the only person who didn't actually stick to their deadlines was you. And so the next morning, I write her an email. Sigh, ... I figured I'd try one more time to talk to you like a grown adult. But clearly, you aren't willing to compromise at all. We could sit around and wait for busy attorneys to do things that two grown adults should be more than capable of doing themselves, like talking on the phone and having discussions. But just know that is also further delaying anything from getting done. I don't know about your attorney, but I know for sure that I am not my attorney's one and only client. So it's safe to assume that our rather small estate in comparison to million-dollar estates isn't his top priority at all times. You need to have at least some understanding and patience with other human beings. Attorneys have priorities too. I can't say I am surprised though. It's just more of the same shenanigans. Sorry, but I'm not interested in this bickering, who did or didn't do what and when nonsense anymore. It is just wasting time. It really is. And clearly, enough time has been wasted. We wasted an entire month just writing emails back and forth. Whatever the problem is that you have, you've never clearly articulated why exactly it is that you cannot talk to me, see me, answer your cell phone, or read and write your own emails. And I finally revealed my proof. I said, which I can see are being opened up at Liberty Mutual, and you don't even read them, at least any of the current ones. And back when you did read them, it was after they had been read at Liberty Mutual, replied to, and a reply had already been sent. I forgot the end. Whatever the real issue is, I'm sure it could be fixed, at least to the level of tolerating one another for the sake of time and getting this done. Trust me, I'm not looking to resume a personal relationship, talk about personal stuff with you, or plan dinners and holidays together. If you're going to judge me based off of some ridiculous text, from over 9 months ago when I was watching my mother die a slow, painful death, that's just silly. I haven't talked to you in over 9 months or sent you, as you say, nasty texts. How would you like it if I judged you by when you threw a rock through our front window years ago because you were angry and upset? What I'm referring to is one time my brother got pissed off at my parents and he literally like picked up a boulder and threw it through my mom's bay window in the front and broke the whole entire window. I'm not gonna judge you on that. You were mad. Is that how you are all the time? No, because I don't have black and white thinking, which is called splitting, and that's what narcissists do. People are either split into two categories, all good or all bad. There's no in between. Just thought I'd tell you guys that. I just want to settle the estate and get it cleared out so me, my son, and my husband can finally start living our lives and start properly grieving the devastating loss of our amazing, loving, and caring mother, our childhood home, and our family unit as we once knew it. If you think arguing with everything I say is the fastest way to do this, then all you're doing is demonstrating that you don't, in fact, want to settle this estate anytime in the near future like you claim you want. It also demonstrates that you just want to argue for the sake of arguing. This isn't a competition to see who the best executor is or who knows more. You're worrying about small stuff like rings and photo albums instead of doing anything that's actually beneficial towards the estate or getting the house cleared out and listed, which is what you are insisting must happen ASAP. You met with only 2 companies over the past 2 weeks and neither are being hired. So now what? You got all those lengthy comps from real estate agents when all that was requested was to have 1 comp and 3 names of agents you'd like to use.
What real progress have you made?
What else are you actually doing to assist in getting the estate settled? The rings and photo albums are not going to benefit the estate in any way, shape, or form right now. They aren't going to sell the house or get it cleared out. That is such an unimportant thing to focus on and dedicate my time to at the present time. Besides, you have photo albums already as you listed on the top of your inventory that was in your little black binder. If you so badly need to look at photos right now, why not just look at those? I'm sure they can tie you over until the more important things are done. While you do that, I will be working on things that are relevant to getting the estate settled and the house sold. Please, let's stop this nonsense already and act like adults. It's getting old, and quite frankly, it's embarrassing to have to keep bothering my attorney with this childish nonsense. I stopped sharing emails with him weeks ago because I'm not paying him to mediate, police, or parent 2 grown adults. If you cannot at least meet me halfway, we always have the option to hire a public administrator to expedite this, which is sadly really starting to look like the better option at this point. I really just don't understand what the resistance is all about from you. You complain I'm not doing things or that I am holding things up, but when I am being proactive and diligently doing my job, you move the goalposts and find other things to argue with and complain about. Please don't for 1 second think I cannot see what you are trying to do. So which one is it? It cannot be both ways. If your goal is to try to drive me crazy, haha, you will have to try a little harder. Remember, I am the mother to a 4-year-old boy. No one can drive me crazier than him. P.S. I may be wrong here, but I am pretty sure you cannot extort me and tell me that you aren't signing a disbursement check over some bent-up, heart-shaped ring that you think I have. And I put the laughing faces. Since when do you have the authority to place liens on me? Maybe you need to familiarize yourself with property laws. I'm pretty sure that ring is worth under 1,000 times less than $100,000. Good luck with that. Let me know what your attorney has to say about it. Even if it was possible and you really wanted to travel that road, just remember, it's a 2-way street. Please stop with the threats. This is like the 3rd or 4th one I've received already. Well, 5th, counting the threat not to sign any listing agreements. PPS. Also, go ahead and petition the courts for your unmet deadlines. You are the one who verbally agreed to take care of cleaning out the house by last Friday. Laughing emoji. You were at the same meeting as me, weren't you? I learned my lesson with you a long time ago, and what you say needs to be documented so it cannot be twisted later on. I have to refer to my recording, but I am 99.99% sure that no definitive deadlines were ever set with rings, photos, or getting the house listed. We made a deadline to have 1 comp each and 3 names of real estate agents we'd like to use. It's your money you will be wasting, not mine. Again, I am asking that you put all this irrelevant BS behind us and we stop playing childish games and we get this estate settled already, and that you, Steven, start handling this estate yourself as you agreed to do. You need to decide what's more important, getting the estate settled and moving on with your life, or yours and your wife's vendetta against me. Thank you. Thank you. I'm trying my hardest here to just act like a goddamn adult, get the estate settled. So I write that email. This is what I get back. Leanna, I'm honestly unsure of what the point of these emails, the phone calls, the letters you're dropping off at my house is, other than to try to draw me into an argument or dialogue. We're co-executors. We have to communicate. So yeah, I'm trying to draw you into a dialogue. I'm trying to figure out why you can't talk to me and why we can't just act like grown adults. And that's what I get back. I'm trying to open up a dialogue. Yes, that's exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm not agreeing to a public administrator. If you feel that you can't or do not want to be an executor, you're welcome to file a petition with the court to back out, and I'll take over the rest of the estate. I won't be doing the same. And didn't I say somewhere like we need to stop with all this bickering nonsense? We had a meeting with our attorneys on 9/12/2017. We discussed outstanding matters for the estate in their entirety. Nothing was outstanding. We each agreed to take responsibility for handling some items. I also have a recording of the meeting. Of course you do. Of course you do. I'm very confident with my facts. Listen to your recording again. This is how much of a fucking gaslighter this girl is. Before I wrote my email, I listened so that I wrote verbatim what was said at the meeting, and she's going to try to gaslight me now, then tell me that she's very confident with her facts and that I need to listen to my recording again, okay? We each agreed to get 2 to 3 CMAs from realtors to establish home value and select a realtor by 9/15/2017 and send them to our respective attorneys to be exchanged. I did this. They went and got like all these comps. I'm like, I don't know why you're doing that. It's such a waste of time. Like, nobody was arguing the value of the house. But that's not what was said. That's not what was said. I'll play to you guys exactly what was said.
Yeah. So we're going to have it empty by next Friday. Is going to make those calls?
I'm going to make the calls.
Is that fine? So we're going to have this thing emptied by next Friday, and then we'll also say that we will get you a list of 3 realtors at the end of this week.
We have an agreement on. So if the house is cleaned out by next Friday, we're going to list by the following week.
Oh no, we're going to get them a list. Okay. We're going to get them a list by this Friday.
Yeah, we're going to do this.
And then we'll select a realtor by the.
That this happens fast.
Yeah, and then we'll select the realtor by the same day that the house is going to be be cleaned out.
How long does this take? We get the list and we'll decide that.
I just want to set deadlines here though. So let's just say select realtor.
I'm not an appraiser, but looking at that.
Do you guys hear anywhere in there that we agreed to have a realtor selected by 9/15? I didn't hear that. She's gonna use the fact that she's confident and she's listened to it, so I just believe her. It's like reverse psychology she's trying to use on me, mixed with gaslighting. It's a little cocktail, little Satan cocktail. We each agreed that once CMAs were submitted, a realtor would be hired by 9/22. No. I agreed to clear out or have a plan to clear out the house by 9/22. No, you agreed to clear the house out by 9/22. There was no or, but now because you missed your deadline, now it's or, right? Or. No, that's not what it was, but okay. I got an estimate for a clean out from PackRat, which was the best estimate I received, and it was sent to your attorney. The letter you dropped off said that you don't authorize me to hire anyone to clear out the house. You are now the holdup of getting the house cleared out. Let's go back to my letter. I said, if I don't speak to somebody, I won't agree. Twist my words, narcissist. Twist them up. Everyone agreed that the house must be listed ASAP, especially before December. You and your attorney insist that this cannot be done until the house is empty. Your attorney actually even agreed that we shouldn't list the house until it's empty. Just to let you know, bitch. Your attorney also agreed to handle Wilmington Finance, Fidelity, and getting a CO. You also agreed to leave the photo albums and rings at Mom's house. You admitted to having the ring, so I'm not sure why you're alluding to not having it. You say that you're at the house every day. That huge paragraph on the photo albums and rings should be boiled down, she wrote done, boiled down to one sentence. I will leave them there the next time I'm at the house. I'm gonna tell you right straight out, I was like, fuck you about your photo albums and ring. You want the house emptied, and now you want me to lug shit back to the house. I'm not doing it. I'm an asshole. Nice to meet you. Here's the grand finale. Finally. You mention my wife in every email, phone call, and meeting. She does not have any vendetta against you. That is all your paranoid thinking. And scene. Oh, I'm paranoid. It's not his wife. Notice that I mentioned that I could see the emails being read at Liberty Mutual, and she just completely glossed right over it. Trust me when I say I am 1000% sure his wife was writing those emails. Your obvious and strange obsession, her, is affecting your ability to see things clearly and deal with them. Thank you. This girl is so goddamn psychotic. Now, mind you guys, I have seen that the emails are being read at Liberty Mutual several times now at this point in time. I'm gonna end this one and come back in the next.